there, everybody. It's Jenny Clark with Solvability, and I'm today here with my friend Russ Barnes, and this is the last Freedom Friday before GovCon Summit. And boy, Russ, we've come a long way in this last year. Give everybody an update on what you've been doing with Cicero and how it's going to be incorporated into GovCon Summit.
Hey, thank you, Jenny. It's been an amazing year with Cicero Solutions. You know that my focus is on strategy development and organization design for small business. And having many years of strategy development in, the military at the large corporate level, it was something to bring that down to the framework of an individual who was a solopreneur and might not have had experience with strategy. So the learning curve has been tremendous. Just breaking it down to, the core of, how do you get from where you are to where you want to be, and then building the templates and building the worksheets and working with the customers and working with the clients, and now developing the Purposefully Profitable program as well as the mission mapping workshop. All of those things have really begun to evolve and to bear fruit. And it's just such a reward to have a conversation with one of my clients and hear them say, wow, this is so doable. Wow, this is amazing. Now I feel like I am on track. And when I get off track, I know how to get back on track. And the phrase of the year for me was one of my clients who says, my brain just feels like scrambled eggs. And we kind of begin to work on that. And now it's like, wow, I'm so excited about the things that I do. So the development of those programs, I'm now building online courses. I'm in the process of writing a book. I have a membership site under development, and all of these things begin to happen during this past year. And what has also been tremendous is the connection with the GovCon Summit, because what we've been able to do together as a team with the book. I'm following up the game changers for government contractors last year, and then for this year to GovCon, becoming a GovCon expert. That has just been absolutely phenomenal. And you all are such a tremendous team of folks to work with. And it has really enhanced my perspective on the types of things that could be accomplished, because when we sit in a room and we have conversations about the things that we do, and we're all such experts in our areas and in our fields, it's been amazing. And the last thing I'll say here is that you have been the catalyst. You brought this group together. You provided the vision. You are the one who wanted to serve the community of people who are going into into federal contracting, and then that framework around the veterans as well. Your heart is really there for the veterans. And so I really want to commend and thank you for putting this whole thing together for us.
Well, I really do appreciate that. I love our Thursday masterminds. And it wasn't really until we started having these 30-minute sessions every Thursday that we recognized each other's skills and what we brought to the table. And it's really helped us be cohesive as a team. When I read the book the other day, opened it up, read it, opened to your chapter, in my head, I'm hearing Russ Barnes in my head saying what you're saying, because you have been instrumental in getting me to this point. As you know, Russ, I've always had this concept and wanted to bring it together. And I would say, well, I can't do that. I can't do that. And he said, well, what can you do? And how do you measure it? I love your charts because you let me give myself credit for what I had accomplished. And I feel like what we really have done is embrace the veteran entrepreneurs and federal contractors and surrounded them with the people that they need to know to be successful, because they don't just need me and some financial logistics. They need strategy. They need you to ask them, where do you want to take this baby? Do you want to be 20 people? Do you want to be 200 people? Do you want to do 2,000? So mindset is what I always think about when I talk to you, but your word this year has been intention. And what we've really done is, as a group, we've set our own goals of what we want to accomplish. And as we go into the following year, I want to keep our community together and continue having conversations so that we're serving those that have served us.
Yeah,
when a small business in federal contracting is successful, they bring along so much more with them.
Mm-hmm.
They bring on their employee families, They have a certain amount of time and resource that they can share with nonprofits, veterans organizations, whatever they want to do in the community. But for me, the number one thing is when you're in a group of people that challenge you to be better, you've got to keep showing up. Talk to us a little bit about inspiring other people and how you do that with your strategy, Russ.
Because strategy for me is what enables you to deal with the complexity that is involved with business. There are so many things that a small business owner has to keep track of on a day-to-day basis, and you know that very well. And one of the big strengths that you have is your mind is always creating new ideas and seeing new options and new opportunities and new ways of bringing value to people. And at a point, you can sort of lose control of that, and it just gets out of control. So with strategy, the whole idea is to be able to put things into a framework so that you don't lose all of those wonderful ideas, so that you can have conversations with people about those ideas in a way that they can understand. So the definition I use of strategy is how to get from where you are to where you want to be. And when we establish where we want to be, now we have directionality. And then we can say, okay, these are some of the things we can do to get there, and we can prioritize. And we can take those great ideas and go, oh, that's a great idea. Let me put it here. And now you can really manage all of the different things that are so complex, put them into this framework, and then just feel great about making progress. And when you find those things that you don't do particularly well, and those things that you don't want to do, you can show somebody your map and say, hey, these are the things that I do. These are the things I like to do. Do you do this, or do you like that? And now you can collaboratively and collectively put your minds together, and people will say, oh yeah, I'm really good at that. Like Doc is really good at that. And Michael is good at that. And Josh is really good at this. And Emily is really good at this. And we all came up with our words, and that goes into the strategy. And now we can collaborate and communicate so much more effectively when you have a strategy. And I say that strategy gives you patience. And then the organization design aspect of that, which is also very big for me, is what helps you to overcome the limitations, and which also helps you to overcome the anxiety that comes along with, having a lot of things on your plate at one time. So just keeping in mind that basic definition, how to get from where you are to where you want to be, keeping your eye on the ball. So with GovCon, when we decided that we wanted to serve the veteran community and we wanted them to walk away with certain takeaways, the connections that you talked about, the resources that you talk about, the roadmap, that we talk about, when we know that that's what we want to accomplish, then everything from where we are to where we want to be becomes a little bit easier and more exciting to manage. So that's how I think of strategy. Right now, it's in my brain. That's just the way I think. And I understand that everyone doesn't think the way I do. So that's why I'm so passionate about sitting down and helping people with strategy development, so that they can be more effective in the types of things that they're interested in doing.
Well, and it's so important that I introduce people to you, because I want people to feel like they know where they want to go and can get on that path, because it's a team approach.
Yes.
And what we've created with our GovCon Summit and GovCon community is a team approach. I don't know who they need or what they need, but I want to have them have access to that resources and the relationships so they can find it. I think one of the biggest frustrations for all of us, especially during COVID, is when you're trying to find out information and you couldn't go make an appointment and you couldn't get people on the phone, and you'd go to the website and they said, we'll get back to you. What's different about GovCon Summit is when somebody comes to me and they say, I need somebody, they'll say, where do I call? Oh, you don't call. I want to connect you right now to Russ Barnes and let him talk to you directly, because you really need to know, who do I call?
That's right.
Who do I count on? And that is the big difference that we're leveraging with GovCon community. It's a small, intimate group of people that have worked together, that have trust, that have credentials, that are pursuing thought leadership and excellence. And I might not know everything about technology, but I can do the cybersecurity, CMMC, and I can do the innovation, because I brought in that team to do it.
That's
And
right.
that's really where I have the most fun, being Oprah, thinking, oh my gosh, who needs to know this? I also, as you know, got carried away. And if it weren't for you, I would never have gotten this far. But what you reminded me of is now you can create a business.
Hmm.
Because of you, I've got a team of people helping me. I've got, well, let's talk with Chris McPhee is the camera guy that does all the video production and all the creative stuff. We've got a YouTube channel now.
Hmm.
Things are going along. Sapna Doshi is awesome with Alanea Productions. She does all the graphics. She does all my marketing. She puts stuff out for me on LinkedIn. I'm like, I said that? She's like, well, you said it. You didn't say exactly this way, but now we've got impact. And that's what we're all looking for. We're not really looking to do small things. We're looking to leverage our talents to really transform what people are doing. It's so easy to shrink back and say, well, you know, it's Friday afternoon. I think I'll just go get a latte. But when you have to keep showing up and talking to people every week about what they accomplish and you want to encourage them, you're holding yourselves accountable too. And that's such a big thing. So I've also got Hong Pineda, who came to me through Freedom Makers. She's a military spouse married to a corpsman out in, I think, Utah.
Hmm.
And she's been awesome. Addie Chris Emian joined us. She's a DoD Skillbridge intern, a Navy helicopter mechanic that's been helping us out with this. And what I loved about her is when I told her what I needed, she called me up. This is like the first interview. She doesn't know I'm like, I'll hire you, whatever. But she said, I've studied your website. I looked at this, I looked at this. And part of me goes, oh my gosh, I'm not ready. We all have that feeling of I'm not ready.
Hmm.
But what we have to be able to do is say, I have enough. I
Hmm.
can move forward with this. And I'm not going to listen to all the crazy voices in my head that say, well, how do you monetize that?
Yes. You know, when you map out your plan, you map out your strategy, um, in the beginning, it's sort of this sort of artificial construct. You don't know that everything is going to work the way you have mapped it out, but what it does is it gives you a visual and you can kind of look at it and go, okay, yeah, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this needs to be done. And as you walk down the path, though, you gain clarity, and as you just mentioned, you're able to find the people who need to be on the team. And when the people who need to be on the team can see what you need to accomplish to get from where you are to where you want to be, then they can really have a better idea of how to contribute to that and how to participate in that. And it's
Well,
just such a phenomenal, way to coordinate in the team and make sure that everybody's contributing to their maximum benefit.
well, you're absolutely right. And the other part of the team that I've had that's been with me all of this time,
Mhm.
Melanie Yerda and Joanne Holbrook, because they've known me for a long time. And we've been running GovCon summits or something similar to what we called a Rocket City GovCon for a number of years. And it's almost like once I brought them back on the team, they anticipated what we needed to do.
Mhm.
And what I love about it is Melanie, with her graciousness, finds the right way to encourage people to give the information, to share what they have, and to do what needs to be done. But she's been taking care of me. And until I had this, people would say, well, you have to have a procedure, you have to have
Mhm.
a process. And the
Mhm.
last thing I want to do is sit down and write a process. And when I would start to do it, I don't know, you know this, I would write 70 pages on something. You say, you didn't ever say, Jenny, you didn't accomplish anything, but I didn't. It was like I had to believe in myself enough to let my team say, I see where you're going. Let me do this, which is exactly what Melanie's done. And Joanne's been working with me longer than anybody else. She was initially my client. And
Mhm.
so there's times where I know she's calling on people that are part of our clients. She said, Jenny, they don't even know it's not you because I know exactly what you're going to say. So Joanne has made phone calls to 323 service disabled veteran owned small businesses, told them about GovCon, let them know what we're doing, because the hardest part about putting an event together is feeling like you're ready
Mhm.
and being ready enough to invite people when you're really not sure. But it's so exciting to be at this point, seeing that starting on Tuesday, we're going to have Chris Strickland, who's the Thunderbird pilot that ejected and survived, tell his story and how that changed his life. And the other part about it, Russ, when I think about what you talked to me over this last year about how we all have to find our role and what we're good at. And that's what I'd love for you to talk about as we wrap this up.
Yeah, we each have particular strengths, and there are things that we do naturally. And one of the great things about this group and everyone that you've mentioned who's already on the team is this self-awareness and understanding what those strengths are. And so we gave each other a word, or we chose a word that applied to what it is that we do and where our strengths lie. But as we begin to execute in those stages and in those spaces, the team just becomes that much more stronger. And I like to look at it from the perspective of a basketball team. On the team, you have your center, you have your forwards, you have your guards, and everyone has a specific role and skill. So you don't have the one person who just takes over and wins on behalf of the team. Everybody makes that contribution. And so coming from our strengths and understanding what our contributions are and what they look like is really one of the things that I think has accelerated us to be able to contribute to the community as we do.
Well, it's definitely because of basketball. So, I'm the shortest member of the team. I didn't know this about Josh, but he actually had a scholarship for playing basketball, and he's not that tall, but he's feisty. And then you and Emily, I think you guys have challenged everybody. Emily played basketball for the Naval Academy. And whenever I think about it, I think about the sound of a bouncing ball. So growing up, I have 4 brothers, military family. There was always basketball going on, a lot of smelly basketball people around that had been out there working. And I couldn't, I'm not very good at it, but I can play horse. And the main thing is to show up and play the game and play your best and be a part of the team, because you can't play without that 5th or 6th player and be effective about it. You also have to be able to know the skills, know the rules, and figure out what you need to do. And that takes practice, practice, practice. So this really fits in with your book and everything that you've talked about developing basic skills. And it's got to be way more than dribbling, right?
Exactly. It comes down to, fundamentals is what I talk about. I talk about fundamentals, the basic fundamentals of business and how they relate to basketball. And I want to take a little bit of a detour. It's on the same track, but I played Division I basketball in college, and we actually played against the Naval Academy. So Emily go back and forth about what type of a challenge we're going to have with each other, whether it's a horse game or something of that nature. But I want to take it to the game of business, and you have also connected the game of GovCon. And with Mitch, each one of those has a game associated with that acronym. And I thought that was genius. And it's just such a fun thing to bring into it. But yeah, the business, I equate business to a game, and it has all those things that equate to a game. You have rules, you have score, you have, people who win, you have people who don't win, but you can always improve. You have coaches, you have all these things that entail, any kind of a game, and you need to bring those into the game of business and think those through. So my chapters are really focused on how do you apply the basic business fundamentals, put them into a strategy, prepare yourself, prepare your products, connect with the government in a way that you're solving a problem on their behalf. And that all works out, really well.
Well, and as Michael Lejeune has talked to us about that's all about focus.
Yes.
Because if you're not doing the fundamentals, you're spreading a lot of energy over a large area, and you're not getting better at any one thing. And our goal is to help people that want to be at the top of the game of GovCon as small businesses really learn what they need to do so we can get them there faster. Michael Lejeune always talks about 5 months versus 5 years. For that to happen, you need to know the best practices. You need to know what you're good at. You need to know what you love doing, because you'll do more of that. So I'm super excited to think that we've got Emily Harriman, who has Onward Movement, really talking about people being authentic, figuring out what they want to do, and going for it. So they create the life of their dreams. Her word's authentic. That's right. Then yours is intention, very much about strategy and development of strategy. And we're so glad that you're a big part of that team, because you're like the strength of it. Then we've got Eric Dockroyd, who has so much energy for veterans. And over this last year, developed the DOC skill bridge. He has vets to PM. He's written another book. I think he's written several, but the one that he talked about was taking military language into management.
That's
And
right.
I get so excited whenever he gets on with this, because he really has a lot of things to talk to veteran entrepreneurs about. These are the top 10 things you should do. And that's what you need to do. You need advice from people that you respect, that you trust, that you can see have a proven track record.
That's right.
As I mentioned, Michael Lejeune with RSM Federal, very much the strategy coach. And he keeps reminding me, Jenny, what one thing do you want to do? What do we want to accomplish between now and then? And that's what I look back on for the last year of what we've done. We started something, we didn't know we were going, but because we started it and took action, it had the biggest impact. And then last but not least is Josh Frank with RSM Federal. People love his sessions because he challenges them to think differently. He said, what is the problem you solve?
Yes.
And why should your government customer care? And quit following the crowd doing all these things. And that's why, as a group, us all coming together can have such big impact. So I'm so excited, Russ, about what we're putting together. People are already asking me about next year. I've learned so much. I already have things that I want to make changes. I still will consider it to be around this Mitch, MITCH, mentorship, inclusion, teamwork, camaraderie, and heart in our tracks. That corresponds to matchmaking, innovation, targeting, cyber and CMMC, and human capital. So I always have some combination of those words to bring us all together. But what it's helped me to do is be very specific about how we've created a different game board for those people that want to be players in the GovCon, how you can up your game. We're going to be doing GovCon Summit again. I think that with the platform we've created, we'll have a combination of virtual and live. And I've already got people coming, calling me and saying, can we have it in Atlanta? Can we have it in Tampa? Well, I need some more people on board to make that happen. But the main thing is I'm so grateful to have you as part of this team and in my life. I've learned so much from you this last year, and I can't wait to see what we do next, Russ.
Oh, that's absolutely outstanding. And I can't wait either. And the fact that you now have a vision for what it's going to look like next time, you have that anchor in terms of where you want to be. So now we can just take a look at where we are and we can say, how do we connect the dots to get to where we want to be? And that's going to be an exciting, really, really exciting part of the journey.
Yeah, and when you show me the milestone chart, it's going to start making sense, because you sure had to drag me along through the last couple of them. But I would not be here with this where we are today without your help. So I'm very grateful that you're part of that team.
Yeah, well, thank you, Jenny. I'm happy to be on the team for sure.
All right. Hey, we're going to be getting out on Clubhouse. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. It's going to be so much fun.
Absolutely.
Well, have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
All right.